Welcome back to another episode of Center Court. I'm your host, Alex Meacham. Now, this is our last episode of the season. We're going to come back next season and have a whole bunch of neat, nice, cute, and all that good stuff shows coming for you. But today is our last show. And I kind of want to take a different format this last episode. So I've got two guests with me, and usually these folks are behind the camera. Today, they're in front of the camera. Sam Dunn and Jalen Johnson. Jalen, tell everybody about yourself.
Well, I'm Jalen. I'm a third-year journalism student at the University of Cincinnati, and I'm your intern here. We met at a group discussion. You came and talked to Forever Bearcats,
right?
And you said you needed an intern for your TV show, so here I am.
And boom, you're here with the shoes, the jacket, the hat.
Yeah.
Tell us about the shoes first.
Well, these are just Toms. They're not Jordans or anything.
That's all right.
They're just cute. Have a little flower design for the spring.
Right.
And then my jacket, I just joined a sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Nice.
So, that's that.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Sam, tell everybody about what you do and all the great stuff you do with Center Court.
As you see, for years and years and years, I continue to get picked on, but yet I'm still here.
Yep.
Okay. Anywho, what I do is a little bit of everything. Help prep the show, get behind the camera, edit, pretty much whatever is needed. I try and fill in and do those things and just have fun in the process.
And what was that word you used before? That you didn't say it on camera yet, but...
Conceptualization.
Yes.
That's my UC education. That's right. I'm
a
Bearcat as well as this gentleman. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's the word I used. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. I'm gonna look that up later. Somebody else that's not here we wanted to have up here for our panel discussion is Drew Mays. Drew Mays is our other intern, and currently Drew Mays is playing basketball at Thomas More College, and we'll talk about Drew a little bit later. Who else is involved?
I was gonna say we can't forget about Nikki, Shane, and Andy, and also Jay or Jordan, also known as Black Soap, and Whippersnapper the Rapper.
Yep.
So
Black Soap.
Yeah, Black Soap.
Can't forget Black Soap.
Can't forget it.
So, you know what I want to start with real quick is tell everybody a little bit about how this show actually happened. So a lot of people ask me, and a lot of people don't know. And actually, I came to ACTV here in Anderson to actually be interviewed for a different show, and the host didn't show up. And so Nikki Bishop, who I met here, who runs the studio here, I had a chance to talk with her and kind of talk to her about an idea I had for high school youth basketball inspiring stories, and she loved the idea. I immediately called Sam because Sam has a lot of expertise and knowledge in this area, and so I kind of wrote out, storyboarded some ideas, and we met with Nikki and everybody here, and Shane and Andy, and next thing you know, we were off and running. And it's something that we want to continue to do in this area. I mean, the response from the show has been great. I go out to a lot of high school basketball games, and a lot of kids and parents talk to me about the show. They're watching it. They give me their advice on what they would do, which I appreciate, and I look forward to hearing those things. And a lot of people will send me Facebook direct messages and say, hey, I'd love to be on your show. And so then I have to come at them and say, okay, you want to be on the show? Well, what are you going to bring to the table? Like, what are we going to discuss? And that's always the tough thing. And sometimes people get sensitive and like, oh, you can't have me on the show. Well, you got to have something that ties in that's a neat story. And I think, honestly, we've had some great guests this year. Mm-hmm. And I think we've done a good job of basically doing a lot of research on kids and different people. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the shows that we've done. But first, what I want to talk about is a young man that you two are not familiar with, but his name is Perrin Smith. And for those that live here in Cincinnati, some of you might have heard of Perrin Smith. He grew up playing basketball at Nativity and then went to Purcell Marian High School. And Perrin is about 5'4". He's a short guy, and he has the biggest smile you've ever seen. He walks into a room, and it's one of those smiles that everybody in the room is just like, it makes you want to smile, and it makes you feel comfortable. And that's how Perrin was any room he walked in. And so we were fortunate enough to have Perrin play in my AAU program called Shining Star. And after that, he went on and he ended up working in North Carolina. And Perrin recently was playing pickup ball in North Carolina. and he was playing in one of those gyms that the basket was like close to the wall, like one of those Catholic grade schools. And so when he jumped up, he got undercut. And when he got undercut, he hit his head and his neck against the wall. And he went down, and apparently from what I've heard, he stood back up and then collapsed. And then they rushed him to the hospital. His mother, Dawn, immediately went to the hospital, and they told her he had a neck injury. And what happened was, excuse me, over the next couple days, he just got progressively worse. It went from a neck injury to, he's going to be paralyzed. They took her through the rehabilitation center and said, he's going to have to go through these things to be able to walk. And then he developed, I believe, pneumonia, the flu, and shortly thereafter, he ended up passing away. And the reason I wanted to bring that up on the show today was, Perrin loved basketball, and that was his favorite sport. And I think he loved basketball because he liked being around people, and that's one of the reasons I love basketball, is because you're around so many different people. And Perrin died doing something he loved to do, and that was basketball. And not a lot of people, are fortunate enough to do something they love to do every single day. And, like I always say, I think he's probably in heaven playing basketball, hooping right now. But, I don't know if you guys want to, say anything about that situation. I know it's been tough on the family, but what a lot of people are trying to do is, celebrate his life. And it just shows you life's so fragile, right?
That's what I was going to say, was that anything that I saw you posting about it, it was always about a celebration of his life.
Right.
And I think that's beautiful that, it's looked at, his passing more, the celebration of the things that he was doing.
Right.
And not so much, diving into the death aspect of it, and, how difficult that is, for friends and family, to deal with, but, looking at it as a positive, thing, so.
Yeah, and that must be tough, like as a parent, and especially this is her child who's with her every single day, and that's got to be a tough thing to deal with. And so one of the things that Shining Star is going to do is we're going to honor Perrin in two ways. The first way we're going to honor him is we're going to create an award called the Shining Star Perrin Smith Smile Award, and this award is granted to one of our players every year. And it's for that player that always has a good attitude. And he doesn't have to be the best player. He doesn't have to be the star, have 30 points and hit the game-winning shot. What he has to have is a great attitude, a huge smile when he comes, and makes everybody else happy and excited. Because at the end of the day, the basketball stops bouncing at some point. And people sometimes take sports too seriously from a certain standpoint. And you got to think about, life, and we want that kid in our program to understand that and give them an award, and we're going to call that the Perrin Smith Smile Award. And then secondly, we're going to have a scholarship fund created for a player in our program every year, and that kid has to write a letter to us, and we're going to evaluate that with Perrin's mother, Dawn, and she's going to select the kid that's going to receive the scholarship to play in our program. And that's just, I think, two ways that we can honor the kid.
Yeah, that's really good.
Keep his spirit alive, like you say, celebrate his life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is going into a very, very positive thing with our show is, like I was saying, our guests that we've had. We've had great guests. And I think one of the cool things about the show is we've had these guests, and then they've gone on to do really cool things. And while we were being, in our interview, they talked about some of their goals, and some of their goals actually happened. And it's been really cool. So what's one of your favorite shows or just moments of the show?
Well, it's funny that you were talking about guests, and I was going to say Sam Becker.
Yeah.
And I mean, that show, like, I was over on camera 3, and I was sitting there thinking I'm going to well up. I was
Right.
about to start crying and things
Right.
of that sort. And that it was that moment that I was like, I think we have something really special. And I was even worried. I was like, how did we keep up with that?
So I'm 18-year-old, almost 19-year-old freshman at Miami University. I'm a proud graduate of McNicholas High School, class 2013. I was born in Long Island, New York, moved here at the age of 2 because I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. If any of you don't know what cerebral palsy is, it's a neurological brain disorder that affects nerves, limbs. You probably see plenty of people like that, in wheelchairs and needing walkers and canes and stuff like that. So I went through the ringer, 13 years of physical therapy, a couple surgeries, and I'm here today, sitting here. Probably shouldn't be walking, but I'm walking anyways. Probably shouldn't be able to run. Probably shouldn't be able to play sports, but can do that. So that's pretty much my 2 cents about me.
Sam's a great kid, really is. So what was one of your favorites?
Well, one of my favorites was probably our Christmas episode when we clowned you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
That was one of my favorites. But then my second favorite had to be the interview with Sean Kilpatrick and Justin Jackson. Just being a University of Cincinnati student myself, and then seeing 2 men like Sean and Justin do so well individually, but then collectively for the university, and then the things that they're doing for the Cincinnati community, and then just to see where they'll end up, good stuff. And the fact that I know them personally is even better. So.
Right, and they're great guys. And what's so cool about them is, sometimes you look at Sean and Justin, and sometimes your athletes at a school are so visible. TV, they go to the mall and everybody asks for autographs. They take pictures, put them on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. They become spokespeople for your university. So you want, a lot of times, your best player to be, or best players to be great spokespeople. And I know people are critical of Tim Tebow, but you have to look at Tim Tebow and what he did for the University of Florida during his run. I mean, he was a positive guy. He was out there, and he was just a walking commercial for that university. And I think Sean and JJ have been just great commercials for our university. And the thing is, so that kid they take a picture with or take time to talk to, that kid's going to grow up and they're going to say, my idols were like this, so I'm supposed to be like this.
Absolutely.
And now you're creating a cycle of good people. When I do interviews, I try to run by them, everything I want to say, and make sure it has the right tone and feel. And Sean Kilpatrick and Justin Jackson, because the basketball team was making such a great run, they were getting interviewed all the time. I think Sean said, he did like 80 interviews prior to ours. So I'm thinking, man, I can't ask them the same questions. They're getting the same questions over and over. We need to make it fresh. We need to make it cool. And, that's the point where I got in. I said, I need to ask them about who's their favorite rapper. Of course, Justin Jackson said, Little Boosie. And how ironic it is that Little Boosie's in jail and the whole thing is free Boosie, right?
Right.
And next week,
he's out of jail.
How it was out of
And the fact that he said he had his free Boosie T-shirt was, I was like,
Who do you like? Who do you listen to?
My favorite is
Right.
it's Lil Boosie. That's my favorite. He don't like Lil Boosie, but that's my favorite.
You're from the South.
Definitely.
Right. So why Little
He's
Boosie?
the best ever.
Best
Better
ever.
than Jay-Z.
That's insulting. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna
we're gonna work on that.
Is he still locked up?
Yeah, he got next month.
Do you
Free Boosie.
do you have a free Boosie T-shirt? I think we need
I
your
have
face.
plenty of them.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Plenty.
So there's been a lot of great shows. One of the things that I really enjoyed was bringing the Pretzel Report to life, because that was something that kind of took a life of its own. And
that's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, if we're rolling.
all right. So Jalen,
Yes.
I had you do a little research.
Yes, you did.
And so what I want to do is talk about some of the past guests that we had on the show, and we'd like for you to go back to our YouTube channel and go back and watch some of the old shows and listen to what these folks say, and then some of this will really hit home. Let's take Nick Rusatz, for example. You did some research on Nick. How did he do this season?
Let's see, he did pretty good. He led his team to the Kentucky State Championship.
Now hold on real quick. That's a big deal, because as we were talking about in the room back there, is the Kentucky State champion, everybody is put into the tournament.
No divisions.
And for that group to make that run there, it was very, very special. And he was he was kind of the leader of that group. So he's a very, very special kid. But go ahead.
And he got a few awards. He received the Herald Leader Sweet 16 MVP Award. He received the Larry Conley Ultimate Teammate Award. And then he also received the Joe Lay and Sons Player of the Year Scholarship Award. So he's pretty legit.
Yeah, and he's played in quite a few All-Star games. Some of the big Kentucky, Indiana, the Kentucky, Ohio All-Star games, and those are a big deal. And Kevin Brinkley was another guy that was on the show. Kevin Brinkley owns Cincinnati Fitness Boxing. It's one of the gyms that I go to. And when I stopped playing basketball about 4.5 years ago, I decided, man, my knees are bad. And I didn't want to play pickup ball and let him score me or anything like that. So I said, I'm just going to stop playing.
Ooh, shots.
Right?
You're still taking shots.
No, that's not a shot.
Well, I mean, okay, all right.
Facts only.
Okay,
You know
all
what
right.
Jay-Z says? Facts only.
Okay.
So I decided to transition, and I started taking up boxing, and it's become a sport that I really loved. I mean, I fell in love with boxing just like I did with basketball when I was younger. And Kevin Brinkley is the owner of Cincinnati Fitness Boxing. And congrats to Kevin, who just had his first child recently. So congrats to him and Erica,
Congrats.
his wife. Absolutely. And that was cool. You got to, go on set with me there. I know you weren't with us just yet,
Not yet.
but you got to watch me
Yeah.
go. Now, how come you didn't get in the
No,
ring?
no.
Out there looking like Larry Holmes.
See, here we go. I mean,
Shots.
everyone got
Like
shots. I mean, shots. And we're not talking about beverages here. We're talking about jabs. He is throwing jabs, but
My bad, my
no,
bad.
that was our first location shoot as well.
Right. I didn't realize that.
And the challenges of that, I mean, because it was just me behind the cameras. And so I learned a lot. Matter of fact, I'll probably show a couple things that didn't make it because we shot so much stuff.
I got sweat behind.
So we do this one and I'll take you over to the... Go! I didn't know we were doing the drill, man. I thought we were just going for it.
I was doing the drill.
That second one, you're supposed to.
You hurt my hip.
That's high.
Let me talk a little bit about Zach McCormick. Zach was on the show, and that show was special to me because, Zach had this perception in the city that he was a certain type of kid because he's kind of quiet. We were talking about introverts earlier in the back room and what is the perception of introverts. And Zach kind of had that impression because he's very quiet, but when he steps on that court, he turns into a different person. And people don't know how to judge people like that. And so it was great to sit down with him, and I had kids saying to me like, man, Zach's cool. I'm like, yeah, but it took that interview
Right.
for them to see that. And not only is he a great player, he's also a very good kid. And what were some of his accomplishments this year through your research,
Through
Jalen?
my research, I found that he was named the Division I first team on the Division I first team. He committed to Miami University.
Yep, great school.
And he also received La Rosa's MVP of the week back in February.
Yep, he had a great season, really good season. So now, Sam, I know this has to be one of your faves, but Kenyon Martin, when he came in for that interview, and that was cool for me because Kenyon Martin. Here's the crazy thing: he hasn't been back to the University of Cincinnati until that particular event that we were at. We were at the Hall of Fame dinner, and so that's his first time back. And we sit down and interview him before that. So guess what? We had his real first interview back here.
Nice.
So I didn't know that until he said something to me at dinner later on that night.
We had some audio troubles. I'm sorry about that. We'll,
His fault.
we're gonna get that worked out, and we'll have a subtitled version. So.
Well, to your credit, though, it was tough because it was the Hall of Fame dinner. You've got all these people trying to rush into this room, and everybody wants to see him. And Kenya was so cool. And we go back to when we played. I was his roommate on the road, so we have a prior friendship. But, I said to him, I said, hey, I've got this TV show. I want to interview you. And he follows me, and we follow each other on Instagram. He's like, oh, yeah, I know about it. I'll come do it. he was real cool. He comes and sits down. We got people walking by. I think Mick Cronin walked
Yeah,
through.
he walked by. I actually was gonna do a freeze frame because he even like walks by and he has this look and then keeps on going. So
Yeah, because Mick asked me later, like, what are you doing?
Right.
And I explained to him what I was doing. He's like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, to your credit, man, there was so much going on. We had a small window, and we just had to get it done there. And we obviously didn't know that we were going to have some of those audio,
Right.
but we'll be better. So when Bieber comes in next, and we'll be
doing
Jalen,
yeah,
right. Also, I want to point out two folks we had on the show, Rich Hoyt and Rick Roaring. That's a tough last name. Like, I struggled.
Yeah. I worked on that one.
Yeah.
And I remember after the show was over, I think you said this. You were like, man, because talking about Rick, like, man, he knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Well, starting out, I think you have to go with the team that won it all last year was Holmes, and they've got James Bolden, who's one of the most exciting players in the area back. Plus, they've added Tanner Mavis and Grant Mavis from Walton Verona. So they can kind of go with a big lineup, a small lineup, rim runner type of player. He just signed with USC Upstate the past week. So
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's
Impressive, though.
right.
I mean, he just kept going. And then, I was like, wow. I was like,
Where'd that come from?
What-
Yeah, I was like,
I think he knows what they have for breakfast too.
well, he had the iPad, and I was like, you need your iPad for this? He's like, no, I got this. I got this. I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
We have to have him back.
No, absolutely.
Next season.
Absolutely.
And also, Rich Hoyt did a great job too, and
Absolutely.
he wrote a book, finishing the job, about Summit Country Day and their basketball team, and great book too as well. And so we definitely got to have those folks back. And it's just been I think a great show. Moeller High School, Roger Bacon. We went on site and visited those two schools, and I really thought those two schools had a great opportunity to win the state championship. And unfortunately, both schools fell short. And Jalen, through her research, can tell us how they finished.
Moeller lost to Charlotte Madison in the Elite Eight, and then Roger Bacon fell in the Final Four to who?
The champions, Lima.
Lima.
Yep.
So.
And I was at both those games, the Moeller and the Roger Bacon game, and yeah, it was tough seeing those guys lose because I know so many of those kids. I've seen them since they were young, but they had a great season, and they'll remember those friendships for the rest of their life beyond just the wins and the losses. So who am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? Looking at my notes here. Did I forget?
Our buddy Drew.
Drew Mays. How could I forget Drew Mays? Drew gets so angry with me because Drew has an accent, what I love about Drew is he thinks he doesn't have an accent. Drew, why do you talk like this? I like it when you talk like this, though. From now on, you read Huckleberry Finn every week.
You said that to me when I was in like 8th, 9th grade.
But he does, and he talks like this. He's like, Meach, I don't talk like that. And he gets really upset with me. But I love Drew, and I do the imitation in front of the people, and they just laugh. And he's like, that's not funny. Like, I don't see the stuff that you say. But Drew was great. He was great to have aboard, as an intern. And hopefully we're able to have Drew and Jalen back. And so Drew plays at Thomas More College, and we have some stats on Drew through your research.
Yep. So the team finished 15-2 overall, which is not bad. Drew himself ended the season with 81 points, so it was about 3 points per game.
Okay.
He started in 9 games, and yeah, he had a bunch of crazy stats like 64.7% free throw percentage and a 47.5% field goal percentage.
Okay. Now, he made fun of me the one show about my
he
percentages,
did.
right?
He sure did.
I mean,
That's big
so
time.
I guess, I think I saw when I was looking at your stats, you're in your career.
Where'd you find my stats?
Oh, it's all over. You're just so.
It's online?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think
But
they
I
were
think
good
it
enough
said,
to
I'm
be
pretty
online.
sure if I remember, it said in your career you average 0.2 assists per game, so that's basically all of your career assists right there in that
Pretty
one game.
much.
Mhm.
Well, I was told not to pass the ball when I went in.
Why? But hold on. So that kind of brings me to my next question. That implies that they wanted you to shoot.
Right.
Okay, so which playing accomplishment are you most proud of? Your career high of 7 points or your career field goal percentage of 29%?
We might have to.
Yeah, we might have to do a stat comparison, and
Yeah.
we'll do a graphic for that.
You know how they do that LeBron, Michael comparison at this age and that age? Can we do that?
We can.
Can we do that?
We'll do
I
that.
think yeah. So I'll be.
You know what is funny? I'm gonna do a little photoshopping, and we're going to use Mike and LeBron's body, and we're gonna yeah, your heads. We're both gonna go in there, and that should be fun.
So I'm gonna be MJ.
Yeah, I
And
mean
he's
you're the
gonna be-
elder statesman. You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if I was on LeBron, yeah, I'm not LeBron.
Okay.
Like I'm nothing against LeBron. He's a great player, but
he's a LeBron hater. But
Yeah.
I'm not a LeBron hater. Listen,
did you see that when he eyed him, when he stared him down?
I did.
Yeah.
And then you know what I liked about it actually? After the game, they asked LeBron, was he looking at Michael, and he kind of paused and no, I wasn't looking at him. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
We
years
all
from-
knew that.
years from now, he's gonna-
they reversed it and did the
He
thing
was
on
looking at
ESPN. He was looking dead at him.
But here's the thing. If I was on the Heat's team, or if I was, a GM for the Heat, I'd say, you need to chill because MJ probably has a jersey on underneath that button.
That's true.
He is-
He did have the look immediately after, like, you do realize I'll come out there right now.
Right.
I'll come out there right now. I might not last, but for 5 minutes. But for them 5
Oh,
minutes,
yeah.
I'm going to give it to
He's
you.
gonna get buckets and then go right back to putting that button up
Right.
in the hoop.
Yeah, and
He might leave
the
his
jeans
hoop.
that are wet. But I love your shoes. Love your shoes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyways.
That was great. Yeah, we've had a
I didn't want to do that, but
we've had great discussions so far. I mean, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
Doing the show, and I'm sure next season we're gonna have a lot of good stuff going on. So, anything you wanna say, part ways with everybody here today?
It's been real, y'all. It's been so real. But the experience has been good. It's been great.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Cool, all good.
Yeah.
Mr. Dunn,
I'm happy as can be.
See
So
y'all next season.
I want to thank everybody for watching out there and all your comments. When I've been out in town and different basketball games, a lot of people have really complimented. Everybody goes like, "Where's the studio at? Like, what's it like?" And that's really cool. And we're gonna have a lot of good stuff in store for next season. So, do me a favor, please go back and watch our old shows. Go back to our YouTube and also our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram. Please make sure you go on, like those, follow those, do all that good stuff, and really stay in tune with what we're going to be doing next season. So once again, I really appreciate everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Center Court.
We out.
All right. Hey, cool.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
When you talk to him, see, that's just.
I did that on purpose, so just so you can
Don't
be like,
ever do that again. That
you want me to
hurts your credit score.
Rewind.
He said, "Here's your credit score."
Because I got AOL.